In March, we had the change of responsibility for the new state command chief. For this month's Hooligan Video Spotlight, I had the opportunity to meet up with Chief Paula Johnson on the NDSU campus, where she's going back to college to finish her degree. Here we will find out the personal side of this new state command chief.
I started working at the Air National Guard in the fall of '74. I was almost 22. I worked in administration for Chief Jack Tegans, and I helped with the offset press, the mail distribution, forms. I was also a roving secretary, so I provided clerical, administrative type of support for safety office, civil engineers, security forces, whoever needed my help. And I went all around the base, which was within walking distance back then. And a few months later, the commander's secretary moved to Louisiana. Her husband had been going to NDSU and graduated and got a job in Louisiana, so she left. And that job was open, so I applied for it, and I got the job. At that time, he was then a colonel. McDonald was the commander, and I worked with him for quite a few years until he moved on to eventually become the adjutant general. But I worked on the jet letter and did it all by hand on an electric typewriter, and put in spaces where there weren't spaces or took them out because General McDonald wanted it justified, wanted it nice, and it was all black and white back then. We didn't have we had pictures, but they were black and white. And we would run the jet letter off on the offset press down the hall and collate it in the building and staple it together and mail it out from the base. It was quite a process, once a month. And eventually I worked with quite a few commanders, and when I was working with then Colonel Haugen, he discussed the possibility about going out to COM to be the multimedia manager since there was a vacancy there. And I had been going to NDSU part-time, taking a lot of editing classes and writing classes and photojournalism and photography, and I was comfortable doing that, and it was enjoyable. After I'd been in multimedia for 9 years, a job opened up down the hall to work with the network people, running our network of computers on the wing and the firewall and the servers and all that. And then I was able to got that job and moved down the hall, and then got to work with all the wonderful people that run our network and all the challenges of viruses and time compliance network orders that they face every day to make sure that we have a secure, reliable, and adequate network for all our people to use. Then after I had been in that position quite a while, the command chief position became available, and I went to Bismarck and interviewed with the adjutant general, and I was selected for that position in December.
Paula is a very organized person, and I think that's partly or maybe largely from her military experience for these many years. And it carries through to the day-to-day life at home and elsewhere. What's it like having both my wife and my son as students at NDSU, where I've worked for 30 years in the Plant Sciences Department as a researcher and an instructor? Sometimes a little space is good, and being too cozy can be suffocating, but I don't find that the case with all of us being at NDSU perhaps at a few moments or hours during the day. It's a big campus, lots of students, lots of things to study and learn.
After the break, Chief Johnson will talk about her vision as the new state command chief at her home in North Moorhead. Stay tuned.
In my new job as the North Dakota State Command Chief, there are probably a lot of things that will go on behind the scenes that you won't even see. You might not see me a lot of the times because I'll be gone, but I need to have that connection with the Adjutant General and the relationship with him, so I'm part of his team, and he trusts me, and he knows that when I bring things to him, it's important. So when he opens up his email and he sees, oh, Chief Johnson's sending me an email, he responds and is concerned because we have something we want to bring to him and get his attention. It's a new experience for me now. I've never been a traditional guardsman before, so this is a good thing. Now I will get to experience the challenges faced by traditional guardsmen. Not getting information in a timely fashion, or what happens between drills. Am I out of the loop? Do I know what's going on? Sometimes it takes some initiative on the part of the individual too to find out what's going on, so they can be prepared when they get there, not to just expect to get fed all the information, but be ready to go and know what's going on. I know the Air Guard in Fargo has gone through a huge transition. In our 60 years, we've flown fighters, and now we are not flying fighters. We are flying Predators and C-21s. But what a more relevant, awesome 21st century mission. So just remember, it's never too late, and you're never too old. I went to basic training when I was 31 years old. I had my first child when I was 34, and now, oh my goodness, I'm 50-something, and I'm going back to college. So it's never too late. And now when you're, maybe you can't be an aircraft mechanic on an F-16 anymore, but there's something else you can do, maybe even a more exciting career field. And maybe you are, you've gone as much as you can go in a certain AFSC. Try something new. Talk with the recruiters. Talk with your supervisor. Maybe you have a chief that you know and can talk to about it and get some ideas. Because life is a learning process, and I don't think you're ever too old to learn.